We're really proud of our fine arts programs. They continue to be just one of the real crown jewels of our school district. You know, we offer many, many different electives, many different opportunities, and we have some incredibly talented young people in this district. If you came in, you may have seen some of the artwork that was out. That will rotate over the next several weeks, but some really outstanding artwork. Our choral groups are very strong, and certainly our band and orchestra and our choirs. And we're just very proud of our programs. And we get so many honors, you know, you almost kind of get to the point where you think you take them for granted. But they are exceptional honors, and very few districts have the number of students and staff recognized that we do. And so I just want to say how very appreciative we are of those programs, of the fine staff who work with the students, but particularly students. Students who work in these programs dedicate themselves to doing an excellent job. We are very, very, very proud for you. We have a very important assessment presentation. It's one of the ones that we'll share with the board and the community information about how we're doing in a variety of different areas, and areas where we've seen some growth and areas where we will continue to work. But we are excited, and the number of our spotlight schools have gone up in the district this year. And we have just some really good news to share in several of the areas. One that I would mention and will mention again, one is independence. And we have seen just some dramatic growth in independence, and very, very proud for them, the hard work that they've done to accomplish that growth. So Dr. Happy Miller, who is our Executive Director of Research, Assessment, Data, and Accountability, will be presenting a very important presentation to the board this evening. And then we have just a couple of business items. One of those is a copper refresh at one of our middle schools at Eagle Ridge, and they can explain to you a little bit about what that looks like. And then we have a proposed request for an easement agreement between the district and P&M, and Patrick Martinez, our Executive Director of Facilities, will provide the information for you on that. And on the copper, the award for the RFP, Chris Tweet, our Director of Purchasing and our Chief Procurement Officer, will be the one to present that and answer your questions. So that's our agenda for the evening. Have any questions? Okay, thank you.
So I am flying blind up here, but everyone else can see the slides. It's just not what I can see. Okay, I want to make sure that's. So real quick before we move on, I'll show this to Dr. Cleveland because we can't see it up here. But I wanted just to take a moment and to recognize Dr. Cleveland as she was recognized on the Senate floor. I believe it was on Wednesday. Is that correct? Yeah. On Wednesday. And we have a beautiful picture with her and her family. And that's Teresa Size. I'm going to say her last name.
Teresa Size, yeah.
Okay. Up there with her. And she was recognized by Robert Gonzalez, Senator Robert Gonzalez. In addition, there was many others who spoke that day as well. Mimi Stewart spoke, Senator Souls, Padilla, Block, and Nava. And a couple of the things that they said, I wish I could have been up there, Dr. Cleveland, but a couple of things that were said is Senator Gonzalez said that Dr. Cleveland was more than just a superintendent, because she really started a district from scratch, right? Just all the way down from the ground. Mimi Stewart said Dr. Cleveland was always looking for solutions. And something that she added in there, which I loved, I don't know if you caught it, but she says, I think she knows us better than we know ourselves, is what Mimi Stewart said that day. And Senator Souls, he just talked about her consistency of leadership. He also was hopeful that maybe she would, take on a different role maybe in the future. Senator Padilla said V for victory. So V Sue Cleveland, V for victory, and that she's really an economic developer of Rio Rancho as well. Senator Block he was the only one that had courage, because he's from Rio Rancho, to say that we truly do have the best school district in the state. So, and then Senator Nava, she just talked about how you were grounded and you lead with your heart. And so next week, she will also be honored on the floor of the House on, is it Is it? Oh, it's this week. Yes. I forget it's Monday and it is this week. But Dr. Cleveland, we just wanted to make sure, because you never talk about yourself with all these things, that you were recognized in that way. Would you like to say anything about it?
Oh my goodness. It was a wonderful, it was a wonderful experience. I was thinking I have been at every session in 32 years. And as I look back over all of the sessions over time, sometimes, you know, the legislature's frantic, frenzy to get things done and to get bills passed and all of that. And that's their job. It's always continuous improvement. It's always how we move forward. But if you've done it for 32 years, you have a chance to look in the rearview mirror. And I thought of all the things that have happened in our state over those 32 years and how far we've come in so many different ways. And so it was a really nice, a very humbling experience. And Senator Block, those of you who know him, you know, he took great pride in saying he made me cry. And but he was very kind, as everyone was, and it was a very special event. And but it's been, I appreciated the thing I appreciated most about Senator Block's comments is he said, you and the team, and everything has been that. It has always been a team effort, and we have great members of our team, and that's why as a district we've always been successful. And so I appreciated that he recognized the team as well. But you know, I was just sharing with Board Member Berry. I'd love to know how many bills I've advocated for, how many committees I've testified before, and how many task forces I've served on occasion. But it was a wonderful experience, and I was very thankful for their kindness, and they were very kind and they were very generous, and so I was very appreciative of that. Thank you.
I always get really emotional, so that made me emotional. Thank you. You know, it's interesting because those senators were not all from the Rio Rancho area. Most of them were not. And it really does. It takes, Dr. Cleveland is so good at reaching out throughout the state to get the help that we need. And last year I had the opportunity to go up with her and sit with some different people as we advocated for some concerns that we had. And I just sat there in awe of her leadership and the way that she knows New Mexico. And so thank you again, Dr. Cleveland, for all that you've done.
I would just add one more thing. The person who drafted the bill was Senator Bobby Gonzalez. And when I first met the senator, he was superintendent of Taos as well as a legislator. And I would want to just say that Senator Gonzalez had no reason to help Rio Rancho, but in the very beginning, he stepped forward and helped us in so many ways. And that is the strength of New Mexico, I think, that we see all children are our children. And he gave a lot of time and effort to helping Rio Rancho, even though he was representing Taos and that northern part of the state. And Senator Souls and I crossed paths because he was at the same high school where I got my first teaching job. New Mexico is a small state, but one of our strengths continues to be that we do help each other. And some of those folks were very helpful and very instrumental in the early years of the district. So that's the strength of our state.
That's great. Well, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Cleveland. We will now go to approve the prioritized agenda and proposed time allocations. Do I have a motion?
Board Member Mueller, I motion to approve the prioritized agenda and proposed time allocations.
Board Member Murray, second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, thank you. All right, we get to go to my favorite part always. We have the commendations for tonight. Our first commendation is the National Art Education Association's Pacific Region Secondary Art Educator Award for 2026 to Diane Lee, and Dr. Kurt Schmidt, our Executive Director of Fine Arts, will present.
President Galbraith, members of the board, Dr. Cleveland. Tonight, I'm very excited and proud to present to you for commendation Ms. Diane Leah, art teacher at Rio Rancho High School. The National Art Education Association, or NAEA, is the professional home for visual arts, design, and media arts educators. As a collaborative worldwide community, NAEA continues to shape and advocate for the field while promoting and providing professional learning, research, resources, connectivity, and opportunities since their founding in 1947. Each year, the NAEA Awards Program recognizes outstanding art educators in all NAEA divisions and regions, and from each state, province, and international association. Awardees will be celebrated will be celebrated in these at the 2026 NAEA National Convention taking place in Chicago, Illinois in March, which happens to be the hometown of Ms. Leah. Ms. Leah is this year's recipient of the NAEA Pacific Region Secondary Art Educator of the Year for 2026. Ms. Leah began in RHS in 1999 and has taught many, if not all, the courses offered there. Presently, she teaches all photography and graphic arts classes at Rio Rancho High School. Ms. Leah is a dedicated teacher who always has the best interests of her students in mind and is constantly thinking of creative ways to help them engage with the visual arts. And I believe this award is the Pacific region, which for the NAEA's purposes is anything west of?
Everything north and west of us.
Anything north and west of us, including all the territories and Hawaii and Alaska, Canada, and so forth. So I give you Ms. Leah.
I was shocked when I got the email, and I had to write this curriculum vitae and do all this work, and I was like, the competition's got to be pretty stiff, but I'm honored. My colleagues in NMAEA were the ones who nominated me, and I'm very grateful to them for recognizing my work, and then always the support that we always receive from all of you, from Kurt, and from our administration. And as I was in my classroom before I came here, I have a poster hanging. It's a poster that was printed by the NAEA, and it's the 10 things that the arts teach. And I don't have them all memorized, but one of them was, the 10th one actually was, the position that the arts have in the school curriculum communicates to our kids, to our students, what we hold important. So we're very appreciative that there is this, prominent position of the arts in our curriculum in our schools. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
So much.
Kurt knows always that I like to talk, and that's why he's going to hold you up here for just a second. We just want to say thank you. I went through those art programs, not your art programs because I'm old, but at Rio Rancho. And I
believe we were teachers there when you were
were.
there.
were you both?
We were there in 1999.
Yes, we
Okay, I didn't realize that you were there too.
Like 30.
Yeah, okay. That is awesome. Well, and that is it's so important, as we've been looking at art integration at some of our elementary schools and such, and it's so important to help our students to be able to see those things. And I think even if you don't carry on with art throughout the rest of your life, that being able to see the world in that way, it changes you to be able to look, deeper into those things. And so I really thank you for carrying on those programs. I just think that they're super special. One of my nieces, I don't know if you know Clara Hawkins, but she's gone through, she loves, it's just her place and kind of her way that she's made it through high school really is to be able to take those classes. So thank you so much for all that you do. Does anyone else on the board want to, Michael, you're welcome to.
I'll just say my most influential teacher growing up was an art teacher. And so it's going through APR, it was a very special thing to me. I think I ran into you on Friday night looking at the lovely art. I'll mention my kids are big artists. They love art too. And the way after we met with you and we looked through the thing, the way we get them excited about art is talking about which art piece we're going to steal as we leave but thank you for all your hard work. It's tremendous to have good art programs.
And I will take an inventory after the meeting.
Oh, you should. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Rebecca, do you want to say anything?
Congratulations and thank you for all your hard work and everything you've done.
Thanks, Seth.
Congratulations. Thank you. I know my daughter went to Cleveland, but photography was her favorite class. And I think even still, it's one of our electives at NMSU. So it definitely has an impact on the kids.
That's awesome. Dr. Cleveland.
Again, congratulations. And you said you're shot, but we're not. And this is not the first and only recognition that she has received. And just consistent excellence and just commitment to students and to the arts. And so we are lucky to have you, and we thank you for your service to this school district. And congratulations again.
Thank you.
And she gets to stay up here for the next commendations.
I'm just going to let you announce, Kurt, since you're just going to keep
Okay.
going through.
President Galbraith, members of the board, Dr. Cleveland. The next commendation is for a number of students who recently excelled at the New Mexico Scholastic Arts competition. So if those students could, and teachers could come up, we had several conflicts tonight, so but there are a few students here. The New Mexico Scholastic Art Awards is a partner program with the New Mexico Art Education Association, which is the state affiliate of the NAEA. All students 13 years old through 12th grade can enter their work into the competition. Work can either be entered directly by the student on behalf of the student by their art teachers or by their parents. Oh, good. I didn't realize, okay. I didn't realize there were so many students. That's wonderful. So I will go through and just mention who received what award. And when I call your name, if you could simply indicate. And I believe we have their artwork being shown on the monitors as I read through these. So first of all, those from Rio Rancho High School, Oliver Smith received a gold key in drawing. Elisa Teague received a gold key in digital painting, drawing, and collage. Maria Velasquez received an honorable mention in photography. Seven Halo Hartzog received a gold key in painting and also an honorable mention in illustration. Layla Spratling received a gold key for comic art. Elisa Teague, again, won a gold key in painting, and Rebecca Thacker won a gold key in drawing. And from Cleveland High School, Shireen Kamali received an honorable mention in drawing, also an honorable mention in sculpture, also an honorable mention in drawing, also a silver medal in sculpture, or silver key in sculpture, and also a silver key in portfolio for art. And Caitlin Opie won a silver for film and animation. And I would also like to recognize these students' teachers, Ms. Diane Leah, whom you've met, Ms. Liz Olive of Cleveland High School, and Ms. Amber Spence of Rio Rancho High School, who is unfortunately ill tonight. So congratulations to all these students.
I'm so glad we can't see it up here, so that's why we're like glancing over at this side over here. Did you want to say something?
If they could, before you finish, if you could come up and face back that way, because we've got a lot of parents, I think, that
Want a picture?
would like a picture. So if you would not run off yet.
Okay.
Okay.
We can, here, come on up. We'll just do a picture. Let's do a picture together. Sorry, tippy toe. Yep, any parents who would like to come up and take a picture, you're welcome to.
Smiles real quick for me here. All right, thank you.
Awesome. I think we're covered. Students, any of you guys thinking about taking art in college? Yes, that's awesome. Is anyone hoping that to be their career? You guys hoping for that to be your career? It's a great career. So thank you guys for coming in. Congratulations. There's one thing about art students is they all know how to dress. You guys all look fantastic. So
I'd really want to emphasize that this is a big deal, is it not? This
Yes, very,
recognition is
yes.
a really big deal. And so Congratulations. Would you like to? Yeah.
Yes, come up.
I just want to explain
Into the microphone.
how big of a deal this is.
Please come up. Thank you.
So I am involved with the New Mexico Art Educators Association, and I helped monitor adjudication for this. Obviously, I couldn't judge anything because my students were there, and that wouldn't be fair. But the show received about 2,500 submissions from New Mexico and El Paso, and only about 300 made it into the show. Anything with an honorable mention is going to be on the online gallery, and I will share that with you guys when it is available. Anything with a silver or gold key is at the gallery, which is the Orpheum in Albuquerque. It's a really nifty little space. And then anything with a gold key gets to go into the national competition. Some notable artists who got their start in scholastics when they were in high school was Andy Warhol, Joyce Carol Oates, Robert Redford. It's a big deal. So thank you so much for honoring our students tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in.
A very big deal, and you can see for the quality of the work the students produce, they're more than deserving to be recognized in this competition. So
Yeah, you're beautiful.
our next combination is for Ms. Keir Kipnis in the Cleveland High School Drama Program. Ms. Kipnis and her troupe of thespians won first place in the annual New Mexico Activities Association one-act competition last month. The production, entitled Wiley and the Hairy Man, was a children's theater piece based on a Bayou folktale. The group also took third place in backstage crew, lights and sound, and costume and makeup. Although CHS has placed before in previous festivals, this is the first time I believe they have garnered the Blue Trophy. So I'd like to bring up those students and Ms. Kipnis. Looks like they all must have enough to do a rendition of the play.
I know, that's what I feel like.
So I'd like to have Ms. Kipnis say a few words.
Thank you. It was an honor to win this year. When you put on a production, you put your heart and soul into it. We do painstaking hours of rehearsal. I'm a big believer in process versus product, because if the process is the joy of the art and the work is you as the instrument, then the product is gonna be great if you love what you're doing. These students put their heart and soul into my program, and this particular play that we chose was very rhythmic, and the ensemble had to be constantly moving, constantly telling the story the whole time. No one left the stage. And this group is really talented in music, musical theater, and so much art form that they really came together, and I knew this was the script for them, and clearly, because we won. But it's intense because you go through loving your show and putting your heart on the stage, and then it goes against all the other productions and all of the intense judging, down to how clean were you backstage, how perfect were your entrances and exits, your characterization, your movements on stage. So we had to be really meticulous, but then our hearts were in it, and I think that's why we won. I'm going to have some of my students come up and share. I'm going to have Michael and Ian and Sophia, who were leads in the show, come up first. So come on over, guys.
Hi.
I'm going to use my projection voice. And go ahead and tell them what character you played. And then if you guys want to share with them what your favorite thing about the story was, and then your favorite thing about competition or the experience.
Hi, my name is Michael Montano. I played the Hairy Man. He's this like mischievous, like Bigfoot character, but I'm not that big. So it was more kind of just like this wonderful experience of seeing all of my castmates experience this, like my teacher said, this musical, like swamp elements of a show, and watching us all fall into these characters and really grow to love them. Like I'll never forget performing for the Hairy Man, and I'm sure none of my other castmates will forget performing any of these characters, just because of how in depth we had to get with them. A really good part about competition was just seeing how much talent there was in our state, and just young actors coming out and, like Ms. K said, putting our hearts out on that stage to a crowd full of high schoolers, which are grueling. So it's a lot of fun being able to get the feedback on how good the programs are and seeing like, okay, we did do very, very well with the materials that we had. So yeah, thank you. I'm gonna pass it on to Ian.
Hi, I'm Ian Shackleford. I played Wiley and the Hairy Man. And I think my favorite part of doing competition was the bonds that we all made along the way. You know, it was really special just having this opportunity to do this one act. And you know, I'm so grateful that we got all the assistance we needed to perform such a production. But the teamwork and the bonds that we made during comp, I think those will never go away. And honestly, I'm just so grateful for the experience, you know. I'm passing them. So
just my name is Sophia Elena Dent. I played Mama in Wiley and the Hairy Man, and it's just been incredible, the entire experience. I've been in this program since freshman through senior year, and a lot of these people around me have too, and watching everyone grow and be able to go and win competition with them was absolutely incredible. Being on stage with them, it didn't feel like we were all separate. It felt like one, for lack of a better word, hive mind. It's like I could think what everybody was thinking and feel them, and it was just incredible. And being at the competition, watching everybody, all the other schools put on performances that were, in my opinion, just as good as ours. Really, it's so hard to judge acting competitions. To the judges, because watching everybody, it's incredible that everyone was so good and that we all got to come together and win, and I'm really grateful for it.
And then my last two students come on over. We couldn't obviously get everyone in the cast here, but I'll let each of you say your names, and then would you guys just share why you love doing theater?
Just got I'm Markel Wilson. I played dog number 2, but honestly, I love theater because it's like one of the best ways to like express yourself. You know, there's so many characters that you can play, like so many things that you can do. I would say it's probably for everybody in one way or another, because there's always something that you can do with it. A character you can play, monologue you can do, musical you can sing, right? It'll always speak to somebody, you know, and it's always going to probably be in my heart forever. So.
Markel's really tall. Hi, my name is Juliet Sandoval, and I'm kind of an outsider to this group. I came mostly from marching band, and really coming in and getting into the theater department was really nice because it's very close knit. And I'd like to give props to Miss K for being able to like just let me come in after like being an outsider. I think overall, also I played narrator 3 and I was the top of the giraffe. So, but I think overall the theater department's one of the most like amazing parts of the fine arts department because it's so like close knit and they're all like together, and it's just very like it's just a beautiful thing.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Opie, and I played the illustrious role of narrator 2, number 2. Something I love about the theater, especially here, is a lot of it's been said already, so forgive me if I repeat something, but just it's so cool to have this place of community where we can come together and put on a show and try to impact the audience. Something I love in general is just the arts. There's so much fun stuff to do, and this theater program is an amazing way to explore that and to spend time with other people and broaden your worldview at the same time, because hey, you have to spend time with people to act. And it's just an incredible experience. I'm so grateful for it.
My name is Denise Cotton, and I played narrator 3 in Wiley and the Hairy Man. And like she said, everything has been put so beautifully already, but I believe that theater is an amazing way to get to know people and get out of your comfort zone. And it's just such a beautiful thing to perform for other people, to make people happy, to get people in their emotions and everything like that. And one good thing about competition is that everybody there, it has the same passion for theater that you do. And it's just so beautiful to have that connection with everybody.
So I just want to say thank you to the board for supporting theater in such a huge way, because it gives, as you can see, these students a chance to find themselves in such a pivotal time in their life with a safe community and full expression. So thank you for making theater a part of your district.
Thank you. Students, I hope that just like you were just expressing all of the wonderful connectedness and all the wonderful skills that you've gained from it, I hope that maybe some of you, I know not everyone, but that you'll take some of those over at UNM. You'll feel those same things if any of you guys go to UNM. I have a student a couple of years ago, she went up and did costumes for the Santa Fe Opera and just loved that experience. And there's still so many things that you can do and experience within the state. And I love theater. So I'm really sad actually that I missed your guys' connect because it sounds amazing. Are you guys doing musical? Are you guys going to do a musical this year? Okay, let's give a plug. It's time for a plug.
So we're doing Les Miserables in March.
Hey.
We have several leads in this who are here. So yeah, big, if you want a depressing French sung sad story, please come to our school. Come.
Hey, I'm excited. Yeah, give us the dates because you said it's in March, right?
So second and third weekend of March, and I will send Kurt all of the promo info, and I hope you guys can come. And then in turn, Miss Nadel at Rio, she's doing Singing in the Rain in April. So we have a very fun and a very dark, depressing, passionate for you coming. So.
And both two of my favorite musicals. So I'm really grateful that both of them are happening. Board, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, as I mentioned in the art, another one of my most favorite high school experiences is after a theater performance, harassing the local diners that were taking us all in. So I think you all, yes, it was Denny's. Denny's is always the brunt of the theater department's late night after. So, and Amanda always brings this up too, but regardless of whatever careers you take in, I think I was always dog number 2 in whatever I did. So I never leads, but I think having the experience of standing in front of an audience and rehearsing is a life skill that is ever more needed no matter what career path you take. So you all present yourself fantastically. Congratulations to you. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations to you all. I know a few of you. And my daughter has Miss Kitness. So I've seen a few of your productions so far. And Aubrey, I have. So congratulations to you all. I know a few of you. I know you're definitely familiar. So congratulations. I hope you take this onto your career or college, whatever you decide to do.
Beth, you want to say something?
Congratulations, Markel. I'm glad to see that this is a good reason to leave the bowling team. No, I know that. And I met Julie a long time ago. Probably you don't even remember it, but I've worked with her parents and the fire service through emergency management for a long time. So congratulations to you guys and awesome job.
Thanks. Dr. Cliven.
Again, congratulations on being the state champions for the one act play. And I know it is incredibly competitive. And so, your hard work really paid off. I think about the joy of the process that you address, but also the production. But I also think about what are all the things you gain in terms of life skills through the drama experience, and that will serve you well forever. And so, again, congratulations to you. And we're just very proud that you represented your school and your district in such a really fabulous way.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Finally tonight, I'm very excited and proud to present to you for commendation many students who were accepted into the Southwest American Choral Directors Association honor ensembles. and who performed at the SWACDA Biennial Conference last month in Albuquerque. So I invite those students and teachers to come up. Some of whom you've met already in singing tonight. The mission of SWACDA's parent organization, ACDA, or American Choral Directors Association, is to inspire excellence and nurture lifelong involvement in choral music for everyone through education, performance, composition, and advocacy. These students were chosen among students from New Mexico, Arkansas, Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. So quite a large swath of the country down here. And I'll go through and mention the students, some of whom couldn't be here tonight, and what their school and what their ensemble was. So from CHS, we have Gianna Clay, who is in the 7 through 9 Honors Treble Ensemble. And if you're here tonight, please indicate. There we go. Harper Herbert from Mountain View Middle School, 7 through 9 Honors Treble Ensemble. Chloe Heston from CHS, 7 through 9 Honors Treble Ensemble. Sophia Lanner-Dent from CHS, who is in both the 12th grade honors ensemble and the jazz ensemble. Allison Ludi from CHS in the 10th and 11th grade honors mixed ensemble. Victoria Morgan from CHS in the 10th and 11th honors mixed ensemble. Juliet Paul, who is from CHS, who is both in the 12th grade honors ensemble and the jazz ensemble. I would also like to recognize the teachers of these students, Ms. Jolynn Alaman from Mountain View Middle School and Ms. Yadira Flam of Cleveland High School. So congratulations to these students and their teachers.
Hi, thank you so much for recognizing these students. We're so proud of them. They're going to sing in March, so we're excited. They were accepted months back. They auditioned early in the school year, and so now they get to join people from all over the region, and it's a fantastic national honor. So thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. We're so incredibly proud of these students. This is above and beyond. They have to prepare all the materials on their own. They have to sing without any piano assistance or anything like that. They really have to prove that they're independent musicians, and it really also prepares them to have those life skills when they graduate, to just be able to do things on their own and do adult things. And so this is a great organization that supports students and builds self-esteem. And we're just so incredibly grateful for all the support that the board provides, for Dr. Schmidt for always being such an encouraging vessel to our programs, and just the community for supporting always and always believing in us. And we're just so grateful for these students for their support. So thank you.
Thank you.
I must say I made a mistake. You will perform in March. Okay, there's so many choir festivals happening in the last few months. I get confused, but so in March you perform. Okay, my fault.
Do any other students want to say anything? Do any of you guys have anything that you want to say? You're welcome.
My name is Gianna. I'm Gianna Clay, and I just personally want to thank my family. I want to thank God, and I want to thank my amazing choir directors. I actually went to Mountain View Middle School, so I had the chance to have both Ms. Alaman and Ms. Flam as my choir directors. And I thank Ms. Alaman because she started me in choir very early in 6th grade and introduced me to honor choir and all-state. And I really found a love for it. And this year I was able to participate in honor choir, all-state, and ACDA. So I just want to thank them and everyone who supported me this far.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Is there anyone else that wants to see? Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Chloe Heston. I would like to thank my parents, all my choir teachers, and I've always loved singing ever since I was really, really little, and I want to do it as a career, either in musical theater or as a choir teacher. I would love to do the things that these sort of people have done for me to people who are like me when they were younger. And it's just an amazing opportunity to be in choir, to experience being on a stage and singing in front of people. And it's just such an amazing way to connect with people.
And you can come back and work at our schools. Anyone else want to say anything? These are good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you've heard enough from me. I'll keep it short. But choir is another one of the things that I have done since freshman year. It's incredible to see new faces as well be so interested in it. I'm so happy that Miss Flam has more strong singers. It has helped me to mix with theater and do musical theater. I'm in the musical at Cleveland. I will be Cosette. And I also want to thank my dad and my mom, but my dad is here and he is the current theater tech director at Cleveland. I just want to give him a shameless plug, but yeah, thank you.
That's right. That's right. Good. Okay. I want to thank you guys all for coming in. A musical talent is one that I do not have, and I wish I did, because it evokes so much emotion and helps us to understand, remember all of those things so much better than just normal life alone. So thank you for all that you're doing. And just as I'm listening to you and just all of our groups that came in today, it is when we have those funds available to be able to start our students early that really makes a difference and makes these programs work. And so I hope that that's something that we will always continue to, and as far as when I'm here, we will, but that we can continue to make sure that we support all the way down. You know, we start in elementary school, a lot of these programs, and it makes you who you are today and helps you to get these awards and be able to be ready for college and all those things that you want to do. And so I'm grateful that you all came in tonight. Anyone from the board want to add anything?
Say congratulations. I was also in choir, but I never made, if there was a tryout, I didn't get in. So so you all, and from what we heard, this and the Star Spangled Banner was fantastic. So congratulations. Good job.
Thank you.
Congratulations and good luck in March.
Thanks.
Guys, congratulations. Thanks for coming and sharing your talent with us.
Again, I think everybody said it, but we are so proud of you and your accomplishments. And I listen to you. I watch you come up. I hear you speak, and you know and you've got such poise and you communicate so well. And so, thank you for your hard work, our instructors and our students. And we are proud of our programs, and they mean a lot to our community and to our school district. And we're so glad you came this evening, so we had a chance to tell you how much we do appreciate the work that you do.
Thank you. Thank you guys for coming in.
We're going to have to decide what we're going to do with the presentation. The board can't see.
Oh, do we want a picture really quick? We missed, if you guys would like a picture, we can do one really fast.
If you all would like to come
We
up.
totally missed all the drama kids.
Yeah.
One, two, three.
Yeah, we can do that. I'm going to look at Tyler for just a second. Can we take should we do a 5-minute break? Do you think we're going to be able to get it up at all? Okay. Why don't I'm going to do a 5-minute break just so the board can get their computers up. So we're going to take a 5-minute recess. If JC will just give us a timer, that will start us back up just so we can get our computers and all those things up so that we can see the reports for tonight. Okay. Thank you everyone who did come in, all of our students, and thespians do rock. I'm a thespian.
They can see, but we cannot, right?
So I have it. Who has their computers?
So I can look on Michael's
between me and
you guys
Michael
has
share.
his. Yeah, where does he pull it up?
No, you're totally good. Yeah, I know you. We do not. I don't know where. I know, right? I don't know where. Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure. I know it's okay.
Should we go get a couple of additional computers? We really can't do this presentation without you being able to see it.
I can look up
Can you
Michael's.
see there?
Okay.
We have one here.
I was trying to find.
But the community can see, I think, right?
Yes.
Because we have a legal obligation to show this to the community. So I'm worried if you think.
I can't find the slides on any of the documents we got.
Okay.
I'll talk to Jason.
Yes.
They don't have the slides and documents.
I'm just gonna move. Yeah, I'm moving your chair for a second, okay?
That's what it's, yeah.
This is an important presentation for the board. And so I want to be sure if not, we can reschedule it. I have another idea. No, then we can't do that either. We can't go across the hall because we can't distribute it.
One thing I got the rat.
If there's a way for the audience to see it, we could go across the hall.
The audience can see the slides.
Okay.
I got the rat.
Well, we could go another option. Oh.
Nope.
Oh.
I think we'll be all right.
The what? You know, I'm wondering if that would just be better, just to quickly bring copies and.
I'm so glad you did. That is amazing. And this is senior. You're like going.
If they can see it, we're okay. We're gonna make copies.
Oh my goodness, congratulations. Just remember when things are hard, we still are. Oh, congratulations. Okay, I can open here.
This summer, we're going to redo this whole system. And hopefully we won't have this anymore.
So I can put this one in between us two. So this helps.
I think JC went to just make copies of everything. It just may be easier, and then we don't have to worry about it.
I'm not sure it's actually.
I think we're about to totally empty out here.
Because it keeps going off and on. And we too can look on here. I guess Seth could come over and look on yours. But I think JC's going to make copies. It shouldn't take her very long at all.
Yeah, the big one I'm really concerned about is when we do like our business and we have to do it's just when we have to make the motion and say all the things that we don't have it in front of us. I guess we can look at it.
Yeah. Okay. We have 2 weeks blocked off the beginning of the summer to redo the system. So hopefully we won't have any of this next year.
That will be good.
These kids are so polished.
If we just had those.
I know. I feel a little bad. I think I took the art kids a little bit. Like it was just a whole thing. But
Yeah.
They are. They are so fun.
Yeah. I just love hearing from them. And yeah. And, it's just,
Yeah, Patrick's got it.
all right. I said 5, but I think we're going longer. Okay.
Gentlemen, we're just going to make, JC's going to just make printed copies.
I don't know.
So I think we'll just work from that.
Anyway, no, look, I was saying,
She can make the copies, so you don't have to.
high school where
You worked out.
So Patrick, if you can do this now before you walk out.
Yeah.
You walk outside the doors, you're still inside.
Yeah, it's like a hallway, but it's a courtyard.
It's a courtyard, yeah.
We're going to be redoing the system in May.
That's what they said, yeah.
So hopefully. But now there's so many legal requirements about broadcasting everything. Well, apparently that's okay.
They're about to start it. They're just gonna get copies.
Oh, coffee.
No, copies.
Oh, copies. I'm like,
You have one still.
Oh, of course. Oh, okay.
We're good.
I'll share. Sharing means No, you say that, so I don't want you like, I can see from his like. Your phone might go off. Okay.
Can newspaper. All right.
JC, you ready to go?
We're good? Okay. All right, we'll go back to our meeting. We'll go into our report section now. Assessment data. Happy Miller, Executive Director of RADA, is here to present.
Good evening, President Galbraith, Dr. Cleveland, members of the board. My name is Happy Miller, and I'm the Executive Director of the department called Research, Assessment, Data, and Accountability. We shorten that to RADA because it's a very long title. So what do we do? Research means reviewing the research requests that come into the district to try to make sure that we're upholding all of the protections for our students and our staff, like an institutional review board does at the higher ed level. Assessment, we manage all of the state assessments and some of the district mandated assessments. I do have a link in the presentation for you. I know you have an electronic copy. You're working off of a paper copy right now, but in your electronic version, there is a link to our district assessment calendar if you're ever interested in what assessments we give. Data is a variety of things. We manage a tool from Renaissance called Data and Assessment that helps us manage our data. We provide professional development in assessment and data literacy. We help staff utilize the data to improve to improve instruction. We provide reports to help determine program effectiveness. We manage state and federal reporting, or at least some of it, and we also contribute to data governance. What we're going to talk about today is accountability. And when we talk about accountability, we're talking about the ESSA accountability system, which I'll explain in detail in a minute. We also look at state accreditation, school graduation, and dropout rates. Within our department, I have a wonderful team that I work with, and Erin Morin oversees our assessments, and she's not here tonight. Tasha Young, if you would stand up, please. You heard about her during the last meeting. She works with the schools in interpreting the data and using the data to improve our DASH plans, and works a lot with data and assessment literacy, and we very much appreciate her. Angela McEwen joined our department recently, and she's been very helpful. She works primarily in the assessment area, and Brittany Hood oversees state reporting. School accountability is within the parameters of the federal Every Student Succeeds Act. So federal statute and regulations set the parameters, and the state then each state submits their own plan within the parameter of the federal guidelines. The state plans must include academic measures, school quality measures, disaggregated data, and a system of meaningful differentiation with improvement strategies. New Mexico has different criteria depending on the level of the schools. Elementary and middle schools have the same criteria with reading, math, and science proficiency indexes, and I'll explain that in a minute. Reading and math academic growth, English learner progress, and regular attendance. High schools have additional criteria. They have college and career readiness and graduation rates, in addition to the other measures. Some districts may have K-2 only schools, and they have part of this, but the two that I'm focusing on today are the elementary, middle, and the high school because they're most relevant to us. The reason there's an asterisk next to the academic growth for high schools is academic growth is only for students in grades 4 through 8. So if the high school, like Rio Rancho Cyber Academy, has students below 9th grade, they have academic growth. If there are 9, 12 only, they don't have academic growth within their system. So what is a proficiency index? You're probably used to the concept of this is the percentage of students who are proficient, which really means proficient or advanced. In order to earn points, the state has decided to join other states that are using a similar method, and they award sort of partial credit. And so if you are a student in the first level, beginning steps, you earn 0 points. If you're nearing proficient, you earn a half point. If you're proficient, you earn 1, and advanced earns 1.25. And so I will be showing you both a proficiency rate and a proficiency index rate because the points are based on the index, but more commonly when you're in the community talking to people, you talk about the proficiency rate. These are based on the state assessments, and those are in grades 3 through 8 and 11, and the science is 5, 8, and 11. Because federal law says once per grade bound for science, but federal law also specifies every year 3 through 8, and once in high school in New Mexico chose grade 11. I do want to caution you, at the high school level, we are using the SAT for English and math proficiency. This is the College Board SAT, the College and Career Readiness SAT. So I do want to caution you that when you look at our rate and you look at national averages, it's not totally an apples to apples comparison. And the reason for that is in many states, students take the SAT voluntarily. And so it's going to be your college going students. And many of them will take it in the fall of their senior year. They may take it their junior year and then take it again the fall of the senior year. For New Mexico, for accountability purposes, all of our 11th grade students take the SAT. So it is not optional, it is mandatory. And so you have a broader spectrum, and when you have more students taking it, the average tends to be lower than in a state where it is purely voluntary. Also, please keep in mind that New Mexico defined proficiency as the college and career readiness benchmarks, which is 480 for English language arts and 530 for math. Those are defined as a 75% probability of a C in a college level class like algebra, statistics. And so they didn't choose like an 11th grade cut score. It's the 12th grade college and career readiness. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at and interpreting our 11th grade SAT scores. So what I have for you here are the district proficiency rates. This is 3, 8, and 11 combined compared to the state proficiency rate, and also the proficiency index where we receive partial credit or extra bonus points. As you can see, we are above the state average in each of the content areas. And the next slide shows you the proficiency rate by grade and by content. The next section is academic growth. And academic growth is based on student growth percentiles calculated using MSSA scale scores. MSSA is the grade 3 through 8 English and math assessment. And so what that means is they look at students in their prior year. So for a 4th grade student, they look at how they did on the 3rd grade test. So let's say the student scored a 350 on the 3rd grade test. They look at all the students around the state that scored a 350, and then how did they do in their 4th grade year? Did they do higher than their peers or lower than their peers or about the same? So if they grew a typical amount, their growth percentile would be a 50. The 50 is sort of typical growth. And so each student has an individual growth percentile, and then they look at what is the median, what is the middle growth percentile for the school or for the district. Next slide, please. So when you look at this chart, you can see that the state median percentile is 50th in math and 49th in English language arts. By definition, the state percentile is going to be between sort of 49 and 51. It has to be, the average would be 50. The median is going to be very close to 50. If we are above the state median, it means that we are growing a little bit faster than the typical student in the state. At a 58th percentile in math, we're growing not hugely above, but our middle student is growing faster than a typical rate compared to other students around the state. And our language arts is similar. We're just a little smidge above. Next slide. English learner progress. When a student arrives and is screened and is identified as an English learner, they take the access assessment in their first year. The state expects that they will be proficient in academic language, reading, writing, speaking, and listening within 5 years. And they define proficiency as a 4.7 on the access assessment. That's actually higher than some of the other states. For example, I was talking with Dr. Dodd in Maryland, it's a 4.5 to exit. Our definition of proficiency is 4.7. So they look at the grade level the student is when they enter. They look at their first test score and say, okay, you're at a level 1 now. You need to get a 4.7 in 5 years. We're going to set these interim targets for you. And so this measure is whether the student met their interim target to be proficient within 5 years. So it's not the percentage of students exiting, but whether they met this target that's on a chart. But really it's just stepping stones towards proficiency. Next slide. And you can see that our rate of meeting the target is higher than the state average. Our rate is 25.4% and the state is 16.5. Regular attendance is the inverse of chronic absenteeism. And let me explain to you what chronic absenteeism is. If a student misses 10% or more of class for any reason, they are considered to be chronically absent. If it's excused, if it's unexcused. I shouldn't say for any reason. If they have an activity or something, they're considered present. But if they are absent, then, and they miss 10% or more of class, which is 18 days across the school year, then they're considered chronically absent. So we talk a lot about the percentage of students that are chronically absent. Regular attendance is the flip. So it's the percentage of students who are here 90.01% to 100% of the time. Last year, by our calculations using PowerSchool, we had about 22.6% of our students who missed class, so our regular attendance rate was 77.4%. As of 80th day this year, it's about 19% for the district. This is significantly less. It seems like a lot. It is a lot, and you will hear at a future point in time, I am sure, the efforts that the schools have been going to reduce their chronic absenteeism. But compared to 22, 23, and right after the pandemic, these numbers are about half of what they used to be. College and career readiness is for high schools only. The state has both participation and success. Participation is the proportion of students who were ever members of a cohort who participated in one or more college or career ready assessments or courses. So whether they did CTE, whether they took the PSAT, and then of those students who participate, how many met the college or career readiness benchmark for whatever that measure is. I should let you know that this is a lagging indicator. So this data is from the class of 2024, even though it's for data year 24-25. And our participation and our success rate are, again, higher than the state level. Graduation is a little bit complex to calculate. What you need to really realize from this is a graduate is a student who receives a diploma. Non-graduates include students that we don't know what happened to them. Maybe they were absent for 10 or more days and were disenrolled and they didn't re-enroll in a PED school. They might have gone to a private school. They might have gone out of state. We just don't know where they are. It can include students that are known dropouts. It includes students who get a GED. It includes students who go to a non-diploma granting institution like Job Corps or the National Guard Youth Challenge Academy. So the only students who are counted as a graduate are those with a diploma. Even though we have had students who have gotten a GED and gone on successfully to higher ed, they're not considered to be a graduate. Some students are excluded from the calculations, and those are students who move out of state or go to a private school or basically a non-PED school. The other thing to consider when looking at graduation rates is how long they've been at a school. New Mexico has a system of proportional accountability, which means that if a student starts at, say, Rio Rancho High School and spends 3 years at Rio Rancho High School and then goes to Independence High School for 1 year, both schools are accountable for that student's success or not graduating. And the way they apportion that is by how many snapshots they're here. We have 4 snapshots in a year. Second week of October, December 1st, second week of February, and end of year. And so for 4 years, we're looking at a total of 16 snapshots if they were here the full year. So if they were at Rio Rancho High School for 3 years and Independence for 1, Rio Rancho High School would have 75% of the weight and Independence would have 25% of the weight. If a student is here in New Mexico in a PED school, let's say for 10 days, and they happen to cross a snapshot date and then leave again, we have 100% because it was 1 out of 1. Next slide. So graduation is also a lagging indicator like college and career readiness. The data that is showing here is from the class of 2024. And you can see that our 4-year, 5-year, and 6-year rates are higher than the state average. The class of 2025 data is almost ready to be published. And we expect that it'll be published by the end of this month. Right now, we have tentative rates that are embargoed that we're looking at to validate, but we will come back to you soon with the class of 2025 graduation rates. And those class of 2025 graduation rates will be in the next cycle of school accountability designations. So once we take all these and we earn points in each of the categories, they get added together and schools are given designations. And this is part of the federal requirements. You receive a spotlight designation if your point total is in the top 25% in the state. Traditional, you are not in need of improvement, but you're not quite up in the top 25%. And then there are designations either based on how subgroups are performing or all students are performing. And you can see there, I'm not going to go into detail at this point in time about each of these designations, but I'd be happy to provide you more information if you ever would like more specific details about each of the types of designations. Next slide. I do want to point out that for the comprehensive school improvement and the more rigorous interventions designations, there are 2 types. There's low performance for a Title I school whose overall score is in the bottom 5% of Title I schools statewide, and we do not have any schools in that category. And graduation, and this is important for Independence High School. By federal law, any school, and it doesn't matter if you're an alternative school or not, if the 4-year graduation rate is below 66.7%, enters the CSI designation for graduation. And if you don't exit it within the 3 years, then you move into the more rigorous intervention category for graduation. In order to exit, the school needs to have a 3-year average of the 4-year cohort rate above 66.7%. So how did we do? For anyone who would like to look in depth at how our schools are doing, they can go to newvistas.org. The majority of our schools, we have 12 schools in the Spotlight designation. Again, Spotlight is in the top 25% in the state. We have 6 schools in traditional designation, and Independence High School is in the MRI graduation category. And I believe that there will be a board report in March for Independence High School, and they've been doing really wonderful things, and they're making tremendous progress. So they are in this designation, but there's reason to hope that the things that they have been doing and putting into place are really making a difference in terms of their graduation rate. In addition to these school designations, there's additional criteria that are included in the district report card. This includes per pupil expenditures, educator qualifications, post-secondary enrollments rate, school climate, which is taken from the civil rights data collection data, alternate assessment participation, and school board training. So as school board members, you're required to participate in training. The School Board Association gives it to them. It goes on newmexicovistas.org. Whether you have met your requirements or not, it's also in the state accreditation system. I do want to caution you, if you are trying to compare data from this year to last, there have been some business rule changes on the district report card. Per pupil expenditures, last year they apportioned some of the district expenditures to the schools because things like, let's say, software or assessments or other things that we pay for out of the district go to serve the schools. This year they have new staff, they have a new way of doing it, and they strictly did it what is in the school budget versus the district budget. So if you try to add up the school budget and you compare it to the district, it's not going to match. And so just realize that you can't compare, treat this year as a baseline year because the methodology changed. Also for educator qualifications, the federal government says you have to look at the number of teachers who are inexperienced and whether they're in a high poverty or a low poverty school, et cetera. And the way that they determined high poverty and low poverty last year was the free and reduced lunch program. And since 100% of our students participate in the free and reduced lunch program, it made it appear that all of our schools are high poverty. This year, they changed the business rule to determine the economic status to direct certification of SNAP benefits. And so it's a different way of assessing. And so again, be cautious when comparing the two because the business rules changed. For the last several years, the school designations have been released by a deadline of November 15th, and the district report cards released by January 15th. That's what happened this year. By state statute, we are required to print district report cards, and they should be printed by the end of the month in the Journal and the Observer. We do anticipate changes. There is a real push to release school designations earlier in the school year, hopefully by the beginning of September. In order to do that, they have to change some of the methodology of who is included because they were looking at students who were enrolled 120th day, second week of February, and end of year. And if you had been there 90 days, they can't wait till the end of the year because that data isn't finalized and certified until the end of July. So the PED will be releasing for comment an amendment to the state plan to try to change the business rules to include students who were enrolled at the school on 40th, 80th, and 120th day. So still 90 days or approximately thereabouts, but just shift it earlier in the year. The hope is that they're able to get approval from the federal government to change their business rules so that they can release the designations earlier in the year. And I think there's a lot of support for that. Other anticipated changes in the PED's action plan for the Yazzie Martinez judgment. They proposed a listening tour this spring to consider additional categories for the plan. And so it's just something to keep in mind if you hear something about the PED on a listening tour. It's an opportunity to provide feedback on the state's current plan and whether there are other types of measures that you might want to have included. In Maryland, I saw that they have a well-rounded curriculum. Some states have surveys. There's different things that can be included as quality measures. And so you may have the opportunity to provide input. And the state also mentioned trying to develop more items that are considered culturally relevant to be included in the assessment itself. And finally, I just want to finish up with mentioning another study you might have heard of recently. Everest Analytics released a study that they call Lexile Growth Study. And a number of districts from around the state participated, including Rio Rancho. And in their conclusions, reading growth, they found that reading growth in New Mexico is comparable to national trajectories and in some years surpasses the national median. So looking at growth, we're making typical to sometimes above typical growth when looking at Lexiles because they need a measure. Every state has a different assessment right now. And so they're saying, how can we compare ourselves to other states and look at growth? So they used Lexiles as an intermediate way measure to look at that. They also, one of the conclusions was the bar to be considered proficient is higher in New Mexico than the national median across grades 3 through 8. And if the students' MSSA scale scores were, quote, re-expressed using the threshold of neighboring states, the state's projected proficiency rates would increase markedly. So next slide. So what that basically means is if every state has their own assessment, every state determines what proficiency means. NAEP is an exception. NAEP is the same tests across the country, but with our state accountability assessments, basically you have a team of people go in and say, I think this, meets the definition of the standards that we have, and this is the level of work that would be required in order to be considered proficient. This is not a new concept. I linked a study from 2007 from NWA and the Fordham Institute called The Proficiency Illusion, which said way back in 2006, New Mexico's standards showed that our math standards were some of the most rigorous in the country. We were, I think, third or fourth from there. So you can see what they did is they looked and said, what score do you need on NWA, which is given across different states throughout the country? What score would you need to have a 50% probability of passing the state accountability assessment? And in doing that, by doing these linking studies, they can compare the relative rigor from one state to the next. I was looking at this more carefully today, and I noticed that at that point, it was a 55th percentile. And this was back in No Child Left Behind when we had the SBA. And now the percentile you need is even higher. So our tests are more rigorous now than at that time. But the concept of every state having their own definition of proficiency is not new. And it's part of the reason why there was the push to have consortiums with Park and Smarter Balanced, was so that we would have a common definition of proficiency and we could make comparisons from state to state. And this is borne out by other measures. With our interim assessments, iStation did a linking study in 2023 and showed that students needed to be between like the 65th and 80th percentile to have a 50% probability of being proficient on the MSSA. So remember before I said a 50th percentile, your typical, your average? If you're between the 65th and 80th, that means if you line students up from like 1 to 100, you have to be better than like 65 to 80 of them in order, to be at that percentile rank. NWA also shows that students need to be between the 60th and 80th percentile, depending on the grade and the content, but in reading and in math between the 65th and the 97th percentile in order to be proficient on our state accountability assessment. So the conclusion you can draw, and I think this is true probably in every state, a nationally average, a typical student nationally of what's observed in their work is not likely to be proficient on our state assessment. So when you look at our proficiency rates and you're like, why are so few proficient? When you compare us nationally, the definition of proficiency is high enough that you would only expect 20 to 35% of the students to be proficient based on our interim, those cut scores. And with that, I stand for questions. I know we just covered a lot of material in a very short period of time.
I know, we kind of went all over. I'm glad that you talked, these last slides, I just talked about it a little bit up at the school board conference too. And so I think it's really important for us to understand. Do we have any, so now, and we've known this in the past, and I guess, and we know it again, and now they're talking about it at the state level, but is anyone actually going to do anything with these proficiency and how it looks? And because this is kind of where it has to do with New Mexico always looking so bad education wise. But is there anything that we can actually do about it in the state to show nationally that we look not as bad as we are? That we aren't as bad as we are?
Well, one is norm referenced, where we are relative to others and sort of our state exam. But then there's also what the criterion referenced. What is the rigor of our standards?
Yeah.
So do we really want to change our definition of proficiency? So it's a tough.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we're providing the best for the students so they can succeed globally and that they do well on assessments like NAEP and other things as well. But I don't know if Dr. Cleveland or other people would like to answer.
Yeah, Dr. Cole, do you want to talk? You can talk any more to the report or to that.
Well, I think, I suspect you heard something about this at the school boards.
Yes, we talked about it.
It's become a very hot topic of discussion, and where, over the years, what drove this study actually were superintendents who came to New Mexico from other states, and they looked at the proficiency and they thought that, kids aren't proficient here, but when kids in my state performed at this level, they were proficient. So what's happening? Why is there that kind of discrepancy? NWA is considered a well-respected national assessment organization. And so they hired an independent firm, the Everest firm, really take a look at that. And they confirmed what we felt for a long time, that our cut scores were higher than many other states. Therefore, when the information was presented out, it somewhat distorted where our kids were in their way of thinking. And so it's been the discussion of legislative committees. It's been, and there's no easy answer. Happy's right. There's no easy answer. You say, well, you want a higher cut score because you think that will make students strive harder and do more, and it's a tougher standard. And that's true. On the other side, though, that when it's inflated somewhat by that process, that's somewhat demoralizing to students and teachers to tell them that they're at the bottom when they're not. And so that's been the push. I don't know where the state's going to go with it, but it certainly opened up some discussions that we as a state have really needed to have for a really long time. And so you see on the chart kind of where we fall. I don't think anyone thinks that where we are is where we want to be regardless, one way or the other. But it is, it came from other superintendents who worked in other states, and they said, right, our kids were proficient with these scores. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I think that, there's a couple of other things that just briefly comment on, but this is the hot topic this year in the legislature, the Lexile and the NWEA data. One of the other, I think, challenges that we continue to face is, our absenteeism has dropped dramatically, and we put a tremendous amount of effort. Middle schools, we have social workers who help to get kids to school. We put some incentives in. That's just, you can argue both sides of that. But, you can't teach children if they don't come to school. And so anything to get our kids back in after the pandemic, we were really stretching to find some kind of way to get them back. But no matter how you cut it, no matter how you look at it, when you miss more than 19 days, 20 days a year, that's going to impact your child's performance. I don't care what you say. It may be that they're legitimate absences. Maybe that they have a chronic illness. So it's not passing judgment on the absence itself. It's just simply saying when you aren't there, you can't do that science experiment. You can't do that at home. Or when you're not there, you can't participate in that social studies discussion. You could do some work, but it's not at the same level. And so we need to, we continue to try to work with our community. It's just so critical to get your children to school. And that is an ongoing battle. And that's going to, that'll continue to be a challenge, I think, in the years ahead. But it is so important that children come to school. And despite all of this, our scores are reflective of many children who miss 10, 20, 30, 40 days of school, and they cannot get the work done. They just can't. So we encourage, we continue to work with our parents and our community to really encourage our children to come to school. I would like just briefly to address, and Happy maybe it's better to address it, independence. I talked with a person who was assigned to independence this year. She's and Renee has done a lot of work with independence and this, and she said your system, the way you've set it up, is set up for failure on your system because in other states you're a junior and you have 5 credits. They don't let you come back. They push you into the adult system or they do something else. But if you think about it, if you come in as a junior with 5 credits, unless you're just handing out credits, they're not going to finish in the 4-year. They can't. It's not possible. And our philosophy has always been, you walk in with 5 credits in your junior year, we're glad to have you come on in, and we're going to get you through. So some states, and maybe Happy can address this because I've heard different things, but I know some of my colleagues, superintendents, talk about their states have 5-year cohorts, or they have 4-year cohorts that start when they show up. In other words, if you come in with 5 credits, you were automatically assigned that you were a freshman and you have your 4 years. Or other states have, I guess, some variances in how they deal with the cohort issue. And that, that's a challenge for independents. They work really, really hard when kids come in to get through, but they don't pass out credits just to pass out credits. They have to do the work. And so they have done amazing work. Given where students will sometimes walk in, the life challenges these kids have already experienced, and we always welcome them. But that doesn't fit the system very well. And so they have made incredible strides, and I believe they're going to get to the 67. I think they're going to make it. They're really close this year, and but they have to work awfully hard to get there. And I would hate to have a situation where we would be forced to turn kids away because it's going to cost the district its accreditation. And that's and I don't think that's what our state wants. We've had conversations with the secretary. She reiterates that's not at all what she wants, but she also addresses the framework that she works under. And so many of the MRI schools in our state are schools somewhat like Independence, who take children that have just had a lot of things happen to them in their life and they come in way behind. Sometimes they don't. I mean, sometimes they go to Independence because they just love the smallness of the school and they love the personal interaction and other things. But some of our kids really do come a far way behind when they walk in the door. And I just want you to know that this is not a reflection of the work that they do in trying to get to that 68%. Honestly, I think sometimes they should be candidates for statehood because of how hard they push to get the students through. So we're excited about the gains. I think when we called over there and told them where it came in this year, I think Renee said they were crying. They were so emotional over where they had come from and how much work it goes into getting our kids through. But I just want you to have a picture of the challenges and why Independence, I think, is worth every single bit of effort that we put into it. And the cohort system for graduation doesn't fit this very well. What would you add to that, Happy? Anything else? It's just, I want to give particularly our new board members a kind of a picture of what the challenges are for any of the alternative schools that work to target our higher need kids.
I believe it's a federal rule that applies equally. If you're below 66.7%, you need to be identified. Within the state plan, there's great latitude as to what actions you're taking and how you treat the schools. And that's one of the areas where the state could amend its plan to be a little bit more supportive and less threatening. But the school is doing amazing things. They typically do not accept students until they're in their junior year. So they're not going to have 16 snapshots at Independence High School. So if they graduate them within 4 years, they count as a graduate, but they're not going to have that much weight. They do a wonderful job of getting students graduated within 5 years, which makes sense when you have students coming in that are behind. I will also say there are 20 something, like 22 or 24 high schools in the state that are MRI graduation right now. They're certainly not alone. Many of them are alternative high school, not all of them are. But I believe that when Independence presents in the future, that they will bring you additional information.
Okay. Yeah. And then the real brief comment is you see on the district report card and that we are required to publish that, and they've given us some new direction on how to do that. But that will be available not on their website, but it also has to be a published document in a newspaper of general circulation, I believe. And we work with the Observer always on that requirement.
There'll be a special section in the Observer and I believe the Journal, both.
Yeah.
Wyndham, is that correct? Still here. Oh, that's like.
No, we're talking.
That's okay. But it should be coming out later this month. Wyndham's already in conversation with the newspapers, and the Newspaper Association has been working with PED on a common template. And so it'll show each school with like a little speedometer where they are in terms of points and proficiency. And it's a lot of information that's sort of compact, but that will be, so it's not all information. For all information, please go to nmvistas.org.
There's a lot of really good things in this document, a lot of progress. There's some really good things. We still obviously have a lot of work to do. And but some really bright spots here.
We'll go to questions from the board if you have any, but it might be a good thing with our 3 new board members to just do a little tour over at Independence. And I thought that was really helpful for me. Even though we're changing the location here pretty soon, it's just nice to go through there. And also with that's not in this report, but our little cyber academy too. I think that's always a good school to go by too. So questions from the board, Michael.
Sure. I'll have a question. Then I first want to just mention in being involved with a lot of interviewing, it's a marketing thing too. I mean, how much people are like, I don't know if I want to come to New Mexico because of school issues, but then it's trying to hard. No. We have more rigorous standards. It's like it's when you're explaining, sometimes you're still losing. I would be sad to see standards reduced too. So, I mean, I don't know how to it's two-edged sword. Real quick, when we're comparing against state things, this is in the weeds. Is this if they put all students in a pile, or is it the average of a school district? Does that make sense?
When I'm giving our district.
Yeah, when we compare districts to like the state.
Would be our district average compared to the state average.
Is the state average come from averages of the school district average, or is it all the students
students.
Okay, thank you.
And
There can be a difference there if
I
you.
didn't really mention about 99% of our students take the measures of student success assessment and the assessment of science readiness. 1% take an alternate assessment, the dynamic learning maps. Those are for students that are the most significantly cognitively disabled, but their scores are also in those averages.
Thank you.
Like they also have performance levels and it's combined.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Rebecca, no questions? And any questions here? Any last comments from you, Dr. Cleveland?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's a lot to put together. And so thank you so much for doing that.
Overwhelming.
It's really good information though. So thank you so much. Okay, I have to get back to my right place. Okay, we do not have any public comment for this evening, so we'll go through that. And we're now on the consent. If nothing needs to be removed and discussed on the consent, then we can go to a motion.
Board Member Mueller, so moved.
Moving to approve.
Approve the consent agenda.
Board Member Barry, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 4-0. Okay, we'll now move into the business portion of our meeting for tonight. We just have 2 items here. Our first is to consider award of RFP number 2026-11-IT-E rate category to Eagle Ridge Middle School Copper Refresh. And we have Chris Tweet, our Director of Purchasing and Chief Procurement Officer, who will present.
Good evening, Board President Galbraith, Superintendent Cleveland, members of the board, and Scott Leppelman's kind enough to join me if you have any really tough questions for us. So this project is for the Category 5 replacement, the cabling replacement at Eagle Ridge Middle School. The district did receive 2 responses, as you can see. The vendor being recommended for award has done several projects with the district at several of the schools. So with that, we stand for any questions you may have.
Dr. Cleveland, do you want to add anything on this one? Any questions from the board on this item? If not, then I'll actually make a motion. So I motion to approve award let's see, RFP number 2026-11-IT-E rate category 2 Eagle Ridge Middle School Copper Refresh to Cypress Communication Systems LLC. Is that correct? Correct. Okay. Do I have a second?
Board Member Miller, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I did that one mostly because I have it up on my screen and I didn't think anyone else had that one there. So Patrick Martinez has our next. He's our Executive Director of Facilities. This will be to consider the approval of P&M easement agreement for Rio Tech Campus.
Yes, thank you, President Galbraith, Dr. Cleveland, members of the board. I'm here for your consideration for the approval of this P&M electric easement agreement. Now, what this agreement is it identifies the electric utility easement on the Rio Tech campus, specifically for the automotive technologies building that's currently being built. This agreement has to be signed by our board because it is our property. So with that, there is an exhibit that shows the exact location of this easement, and now we have verified that that is not in any there's no issues with the placement of it. It doesn't impact the vacant property that we do have, that we will still have after the automotive technology building is complete. So with that, I stand for questions.
Okay. Anything you want to add, Dr. Cleveland?
It's just it appears to be beneficial to both sides. I don't know if Lauren wants to add something.
Yeah, Lauren, do you want to add something?
Can I just mention the reason why the board is being asked to take action on this is it's actually the board that owns all the real estate. The board will need to agree to grant this to P&M. This is a normal course of business to build a building. And as long as there's a building there, there's going to need to be an easement for the power from P&M. It comes off of their utility easement on the street. Typically what would happen is if the board approves it, we would have the superintendent actually sign the agreement.
Yeah, and that's what I see on here. I don't see we have to make any signatures or anything. I'm just looking at it online. So, okay.
Yep.
Questions from the board? Any questions on this one? Go for a motion.
Board Member Barry, I blinked on the wording here. Consider approval of the P&M easement agreement for Rio Tech campus.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Board Member Murray, second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
4-0. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. As far as advanced planning, you can go ahead and take a look at what is in the agenda for, is there any questions on anything that's coming up? We do have a special work session that will be on early childhood in our training rooms on the 23rd. And that's just before the meeting, right? Or what, is that right? Okay, just before the meeting. Okay. So any other questions on anything coming up? Okay. So with that, our meeting's adjourned for the night. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.